Hi, we're in Gillingham with Kancho Darren Murphy. He's a Kyokushin instructor. Thanks for doing the interview with us, Dan.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into Kyokushin.
Right, I started from the age of 4 at the Bethnal Green Kyokushin dojo under Shian Steve Arnell, which is one of the most respected instructors of Kyokushin around the world. I started with my uncle. Just got into it. Started at a low level. Back then, kids wasn't allowed to do Kyokushin, so I sort of jumped on the band by being taught with my uncle, and then over a period of time, I got into it a little bit more, and then I started to go through the ranks and ended up training on a regular basis in all different locations.
Right.
In the UK, so I mainly got into it through my uncle, which still is training today.
He still is.
He's quite high up in the British Kyokushin karate.
So it's not a family thing.
Yeah, it's only me and my uncle that really does it. I haven't seen him for quite a few years now. But I originally got into it through my uncle and family members. Yeah.
Okay. We've just been up into your dojo and seen like one of your training sessions. It's quite intense. People often refer to Kyokushin as the toughest karate form in the world. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with it. I think 95% of Kyokushin is learning to take the blows. It's conditioning. It's 95% is conditioning the body, keeping going. The philosophy is to continually keep going and going and going. And not stop. So yeah, it can be quite tough. The regime in the dojo is pretty formatted. Some people, they walk in there and they think, oh, it's a bit military. Some people they think that it's a bit too tough. We've had all different types of martial artists come in and said, yeah, it's really good, but it's a bit too tough for me. I think with the sort of history with Kyokushin, I think that you need to keep it at the same level all the time.
Yeah.
We never really have a soft class. If you keep that standard all the time, then everyone, when you get new members, they know what to expect straight away. And I call Kyokushin Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. It's really that simple. You either want to go into it in the intense side of it, or you don't, basically. And yeah, it is quite a tough regime.
What about the system, like from someone starting the belt system? Is it similar to karate?
It's exactly the same. I mean, Kyokushin is a karate system. It's still a traditional karate system since the 1930s. We do have the belt systems like a traditional karate. We go through the belts every 3 months. They have certain belts that they need to go through. Start from white, work your way up to black belt, which is Shodan. And then they have every 3 months you go for a belt, and then every 6 months, and then per year when you get from brown belt up to black belt. There's certain things that you need to do for each belt. There's fighting that you need to do, there's board breaking you need to do, there's certain katas forms that you need to do, as well as techniques, kicks, punches, blocks and strikes. So at each level they get harder and harder and harder. But a typical grading for your next belt will not be a grading for the belt you're going for. You will always start back from white, go through every belt and then grade yours. Right. So a typical grading for a first belt would take something around about an hour and a half.
Right, so it's
quite intense because the grading is about pushing them to the limit. They need to prove to me that they're listening in the class. They've got the will, the stamina, and the drive to be able to keep going. Because from day one, I always turn around and say from day one, is that eventually if someone walks into the dojo, I'm looking at them as a potential instructor. So if I don't give them the full elements of what Kyokushin is, then when they become a black belt, they won't be a good instructor, because they've done it soft all the way through. If they only know hard, then they will only teach hard. You know what I mean? And that's how you keep the strongest karate going.
So when would they start doing these, like 10-man, these?
The kumites usually start after the second belt.
Okay.
In the syllabus, in the grading syllabus, there's no requirement to do a fight for your first belt, but here we always do. Yeah, the first belt will always be what we call a clicker, which will be a semi-contact or a non-contact fight, which I will literally be demonstrating on coordination and speed. Yeah, and then after they've got their first belt, then I will introduce them to the knockdown. Once they know their speed, I can then introduce the power, and then after they reach the third belt, they've got the speed and the power.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I'll break it down. Do you know what I mean? Learning them all the speed, the techniques, the coordination, and then once they've got through certain parts of their belt, so I can then concentrate on the power, and then their knockdown fighting. So that will probably be on the second or third belt, depending on the person, depending on their abilities and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not. You got to be adaptable.
Right.
Otherwise, as I say, they're just going to leave.
UFC welterweight champion George St Pierre, currently is a blue belt in Kyokushin.
Yeah.
This, I mean, that says a lot, because I mean, he's the welterweight champion. He's been a champion a long time. Do you think it's a quite important skill for MMA fighters, especially now, to have to do Kyokushin?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think there's quite a few famous guys in the UFC circuit. You've got Bushido, which is Kyokushin fighter. You've got George St Pierre, which is Kyokushin fighter. Even though he's low graded, he's still a Kyokushin fighter. And that's what I'm saying. In Kyokushin that would a blue belt would be something in the region of the fourth belt in.
Right.
Yeah. So he's already got the speed and the stamina I was talking about on the first couple of belts, and now he's working on the power on his third or fourth belt. So now he's introduced that with the groundwork. Then he's already learnt his speed, and now he's introducing his power. So even at a low grade, it's very important.
Yeah, because it's obviously a lot of. I mean, with him, I think he's done a bit of everything.
Yes, he has.
He gets to a level, I think, where he he gets to that level. He knows he can do it, and he sort of learns something else, which a lot of mixed martial arts are doing now.
Absolutely.
You recently took part in a 50-man Kumite.
Yeah, that was quite tough. 50-man Kumite, basically what that is that's 50 full contact bare knuckle systems with no padding, a fresh opponent each time, 1.5 minute rounds.
So you're talking bare knuckle, actually
bare knuckle, physically hitting. It is a full contact knockdown fight. There's either two ways that the fight will finish. You either finish out of time and you'll win on the points, or you get knocked out. The fight will not go the full amount if I knock the opponent out. Yeah, that if I fighting someone and they get knocked out, then the next fighter comes in straight away. Right. That fight goes down as a win.
So intentionally, would you intentionally want to knock someone out?
On every single fight on the Kumite, I was open to knock them out within the first 30 seconds, and then every one of them fights would only last 30 seconds. So that's what I was looking forward to doing. So and the guys that I was fighting as well. I mean, I was fighting a British champion, a European champion, and it's with the Kumite. You start off with the lower types of fighters first. Right. Yeah, they're all at a reasonable standard, but they're not European or British champions until they reach the end. Right. Yeah, so not only are you doing the 50 fights, towards the end, you're more tired, you're fighting a better, fresher opponent that might have been a European world champion and stuff like that. So they're tougher as they go down.
Incredible. Yeah. Where did you go for that? Is that in this country?
I did it here.
In this gym?
I did it here at the Humber, yeah.
Right, so you've run that. So you had 50 people upstairs.
We have 50 guys. We have 50 guys here. Majority are black belts. A couple of them were yellow belts and stuff like that. They've got to have fighting experience. You can't have a novice in there. You've got to have fighting experience. So I had about one or two that have been in a fight before that wanted to go in there for the experience of fighting in the Kumite. So we had a space of about 2 or 3 to allow them as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
We're living in an age now where kids do drugs, or sort of get in trouble, or arrested and all that. How important do you think it is for young kids, especially nowadays, to get into these types of martial arts?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's very important that that we can get the kids off the streets and get them into martial arts. Again, it's good for their discipline. It's good for their coordination, depending on the age. I mean, if they come in at 16, 17. They've already got the coordination skills that they've got when they was growing up. So now we're looking at behavioural issues, if they've got anger management problems and stuff like that. So it's very, very important to capture the kids at an early age. That I have a lot of letters from parents and a couple of letters from the schools to tell them to say how the kids have behaved, how they've changed at school and how their grades have become better. since they've been doing martial arts.
So things like that make your job a lot
absolutely
better.
it makes it 100% better, because you then get a rapport with the parents and they understand why I push them to the limit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where you could get some parents, they come in and go, whoa, you know, you're really pushing them to the limit, but this is the result that you're going to get.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they understand, and I make it very clear from the start. It's their children might not like Kyokushin Kai. I'm not going to downgrade it because they're juniors. We've got a certain, we wouldn't train the same level as what we would an adult as a junior, but we will train the top end of what we can push a junior in the training. Do you know what I mean? Before they get to the point where every week they come in and they go, oh, this is really too hard, I don't want to do it, because that's what kids do. So we just sort of ticker on that edge. But you go down into the junior class every other week, yeah, you go down there and you can't walk in there because of the sweat. And it's unusual for a junior class, because kids don't usually sweat.
So it's quite intense.
It's very intense. The junior class is very intense, and we've got some good champions in the junior class as well. We've got 2 British junior champions.
What age would they be?
There are 11, and we've got another one which is twice come second at the junior championships. That's 10. We've got 12 guys that I took 3 weeks ago to a tournament, and we come away with 7 trophies out of 12.
7?
Yeah.
Because you were saying about the, you're the president of
the association.
So do you arrange all these?
Yeah, I mean we've got a massive setup within the organisation. We've got a national coach, we've got a committee, we've got a chief referee, we've got a coordinator, we've got a screening officer, and it's all voluntary. They all do it for voluntary. And then what we usually do is that we all get together, we set a date, we have a meeting, set a date, and do the calendar for the year.
Right.
And then it's up to individual persons that's got their jobs to get
everything done already. You've got a competition next week.
We've got a competition next week. It's run by the British Kyokushin Kai Karate, which is my old organisation. It's a regional in Reading, and we're taking 4 guys down there from this dojo, and I believe there might be 2 or 3 that's coming from another dojo that we've got in Wallington and Sutton, which is in Surrey. And we're going to see how we get on. They're in the novice category, so that means that they've done less than 3 full contact fights. Yeah. Once they've done 3 full contact fights, they can't enter the novice anymore. So some of them is their first, and some of them is their second. Yeah. Once they've been onto the regionals, we would then see their progress, and then we start doing selections for the England team or Team GB, depending if we're going to amalgamate the 3 countries together for the World Championships next year, which is going to be in Crawley.
Right.
The K2.
And that's going to be arranged by you again?
We're being invited by the British Karate Organisation, Kyokushin Kai Organisation, under Steve Ronell, my old instructor. They're running the tournament, and we've been invited by them, obviously because they know that we've got good fighters and stuff like that.
So your organisation, it was all your idea, you put it together?
Yeah, it all started about 18 years ago now. It all started in a shop in Teviot Street, which is in East London. Right. I had karate clubs all over East London. And then I opened a particular club in a shop. It was only no bigger than this room, right. And I had about 2 or 3 students. And then I put an advert into Combat magazine, and traditional karate. And then I had a couple of instructors that turned and said, "I didn't know that you left the BKK. You started your own organisation." So I said, "Well, no, I've just opened up a new dojo." "Oh, you're looking at opening an organisation? Why?" "We were looking at leaving. Do you want to get one together?" And that's how the ball rolled. And within 7 years, we became the 2nd largest in the UK, and we now have the largest Kyokushin Kai organisation in Asia.
Right,
KSK.
It's
worldwide. Yeah, there's like 34, 37 countries, something like that.
So in MMA, Brazil is the hotspot for the. We all know Brazil just breeds MMA fighters.
Yeah.
What country would you say for Kai Shokin is? Russia, yeah? Really?
Russia. They have. There's only two types of fighting. There's only two types of fighting that we would teach in the dojo. We teach the Japanese way, or we teach the Russian way. You combine them both together. They got everything. Yeah. They're just built machines. I don't know. You know, as you turn around and say, Brazil is just a hotspot for MMA fighters. Then you've got Russia is just a hotspot for Kyokushinkai fighters. They just breed and they're just natural fighters.
All these European countries, I think within a few years we're going to start seeing the likes of them in the UFC and all stuff, and because I mean, when they get into something, they get into it, and they. I mean, the UK is a great ground base for any martial artist to get, because the UK is obviously on the map with the UFC and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Another thing I was going to ask you is, we've seen in the training, how often do you get people turn up, do a lesson and say, I can't do it?
Oh.
Is it a big
we do. We've had MMA fighters that's come in and turned around and said, your training's a little bit too intense for me. It's the conditioning that they're not used to. It's anyone can learn to fight, but if you've got to condition your body, because it's a bare knuckle fighting system, Kyokushinkai, we have to condition the body to take the blows.
So I'll see you upstairs up against the wall.
Yeah, up against the wall and and that's when your intestines are just doing flip flops and you're gasping for breath, but you daren't take a breath, because as soon as you take a breath you'll go down. Right. So it's a matter of holding your stomach and just conditioning the body, the shoulders, the biceps, the legs, the stomach. You know, the sides, the kidneys and all that sort of stuff.
Do you do any weight training or anything like that?
Yeah, we've got our own gymnasium here.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it, it's at the front of the dojo. We've got all the weight training machines, we've got the cardio machines, cardiovascular machines, we've got the abs machines, the running machines, loads and loads of free weights. All the equipment that we've got downstairs, it's not a massive gym. Right. It's not. I wouldn't say it was state of the art equipped, but everything we've got in there is everything that you need to get ready for a knockdown fight. There's no other machines that you need. Right. So you can go in there. You can do your certain weights, your certain abs, your certain incline sit-ups, upside down sit-ups on the machine to get your abs working and your kidneys and stuff like that. Everything that you'll need for a tournament is downstairs. Brilliant. And we've got guys that come in here. We're open every day, 7 days a week. Yeah. We're open from 10 o'clock right through to 10 at night. Right. And so we've got guys on our unlimited payment plan for £40 a month, and they can train all day, every day. Really? They can come in here at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So if you're doing it every day, you're getting your money's worth, aren't you? But it's one of them, you've got to have the commitment.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not like a gym where you sign up and you don't want to go and they're like, oh, you've got players still. It's
exactly, yeah. Got some more famous fighters in Kyokushinkai as well. I don't know if you know that Sean Connery.
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery is an honorary black belt in Kyokushinkai. Really? You've got Vladimir Putin. Right. Yeah, the Russian president. He's a 6th dan in Kyokushinkai.
You sound about the Russians again.
Yeah. You've got who's the other? The geezer out of Never Back Down. Something White. His name is the big black fella. Yeah. He's a Kyokushinkai fighter in real life. He does all the cage fighting as well. So there's a lot of famous fighters that all of a sudden come out of the woodwork. Hollywood all of a sudden has sort of grabbed Kyokushinkai for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah,
I think maybe because like the likes of, like you say, famous people, you know, but as soon as someone like that's mentioned doing it, it's kind of like people are like, it's a shame really, because people are not interested. They only get interested when
they know about it.
When they know, like Jules St. Pierre, you know, he's famous, and people think, oh, what's it? He does Kyokushinkai, and they look into it. But it was the same with me, to be honest. I mean, when I first looked into it, and I start seeing on YouTube, there's hundreds of videos and these brawls, and you're looking and you think this can't be real. And it is actually so brutal, isn't it? I mean, there's 50 man. There's no let up either, is there?
No, it's a continued barrage all the time, and you also got to remember is that when you're doing them fighting, the guys are told not to take it easy, because it doesn't do me or the fighter much justice. Right. You wanna go in there, you wanna do that 50-man kumite, and you wanna be seen to be able to complete it correctly. Yeah. And if you come in and you've got someone that doesn't want to hit you because they don't want you to foul the kumite, I would turn around and say to him, I'm not fighting you. I need to bring the next one in, and I'll make someone fight twice. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a matter of proving the strength and stamina for me. It's something that you don't have to do, but it's something that I wanted to do for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But training aside, how do you prepare mentally for that?
Well, it was difficult. It was difficult training for it. As I said, we've got a good bunch of guys and girls down there.
Yeah.
And every single week I was in the dojo. I was pushing weights. I was running. I was also working and stuff like that. And constantly for about 3 months. The black belts that I've got in there, they was running the class for me, and I was in the lineup as if I was a student.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And and I was working on my own on the bags, where we would do 1 minute rounds and then swap over in groups of 3.
Yeah.
For the 3 months, we was doing 2 or 3 minute rounds, but no one was holding my bag. So I was doing the 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and then everyone would have gone round once, and then we go again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was tough, and in between that. In between doing that, I would do fighting and conditioning with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was really good because I mean we all got them 3 months. We all got battered. We all got bruised.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they all understood why they're getting battered, why they're getting bruised.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it was something that.
How do you
needed
feel
to be
after?
done.
You've got adrenaline.
Oh.
Does your adrenaline keep you?
Well, I had to go into rehab. I had to go into rehab. I had to go into rehab for 4 days. I just completely isolated myself for 4 days. I couldn't walk up and down the stairs. Someone had to carry me down the stairs when we finished training, and then I just isolated myself in the hotel for 4 days,
Right.
and I just watched the telly,
Yeah,
sat there,
just relax.
and I had sort of waitresses on tap, that sort of thing. I just
Yeah.
couldn't move. I looked like I had a suit on. The only white parts would be where my pants were,
Right.
yeah, because that was the only part I never got in. Where the rest of me was completely black and blue. I mean, I looked like I'd been hit by a freight train.
So that was a 50-man one, was it?
That was a 50 man.
So I've heard that it does go up to 100-man as well.
Yeah,
Is
we
that right?
we do a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We don't do a 60. We go straight up to 100.
Right.
Okay, we don't do anything else than the 100. Then we jump straight to a 300.
Right.
So a 300 man Kumite.
And
Yeah.
that would be the last. Would that be the last?
No, it's-
or you could just keep going.
No, with a 300 man Kumite is I don't. There's only one person that's ever completed that, and that was done over 2 days.
Who was that?
That was the founder, Sosei Masuyama.
Not just physically to fight 50 men and fight them properly as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it must.
It did take it out of you. It does
Yeah.
take it out of you.
4 days of rehab. It sounds like.
Yeah,
it did.
yeah. It was good though because I mean I just laid there and I just thought, well, I can't believe I did it. That was it.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what
a
I mean?
big achievement.
It was a
must
big
be.
achievement. It was a big achievement for me because I come out of retirement for 10 years to do it.
Right.
I retired from fighting for 10 years because between 1999
Right.
and 2000, that was when I was fighting in the
How old are you,
circuit.
Darren?
I'm 41. And I was fighting in the knockdown circuit, and for that period in the knockdown, I was virtually undisputed. And then I retired, around about 30, I retired. But I came out of retirement to do the 50 man Kumite.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Darren, just let everyone know quickly what you do, other things you do here, people can do.
Yeah, we've at the centre here. It's the Kokushinkai. It's called the Spartan MMA Kyokushinkai Centre. We're based in Gillingham, which is 55 Green Street, in the town centre of Gillingham. We have loads of different martial arts here. It's mainly Kyokushinkai. We do 80 classes a month that run through the centre. We've got MMA, groundwork, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We've got a freestyle karate, Kyokushinkai. We have Taekwondo, and we have kickboxing, ladies only kickboxing, and submission wrestling.
And this is like say every day now.
This is every day, yeah.
It's good for the mums when the kids.
Absolutely,
are
yeah. If we've got, we do the unlimited plan, which is £40 a month, and it also unlimited. That's whether you're an adult or whether you're a child.
Yeah.
It's good for the children as well because what we have is that in the summer holidays, if the kids are on unlimited and they've got nowhere to go, then the parents can drop them off here for a couple of hours. They can go down the gym, and because we've got 4 full-time instructors here, the instructors will take them into the gym for 2 hours.
Right.
So it's like having a sort of a place to
website as
go.
well.
We've got a website. It's the KSK humbudojo.com.
Okay.
Yeah? Or you can get a link to KSK Union.com, which is the Worldwide Association.
We'll put a link up on the video anyway.
Brilliant.
To your website.
Excellent.
Thanks for having us down today, Darren. It's been brilliant. I mean, for us seeing the Kyokushin is just the training. I'd love to see one of the 50-man things one day, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
No problem, you're welcome. Thanks very much indeed.